right, everybody, welcome back. Episode 2, the Tailgate Talk, presented by me, Aaron, and Riley on my left, right? I think it's probably on the left. Anyway, we're gonna dive in today. We're gonna kind of change it up. Last we were kind of still figuring out the ropes last episode, the first episode. But we're gonna actually dive into just general sports news, I think is how we're gonna do it. Then dive into some, Boston, New York stuff. Um, in the future, we're gonna have, some guests on the show. But then we're gonna finish out with that, with or without that guest, with our picks. This week we're gonna give you our NFL picks. Um, and we have all the lines and all that's good stuff. So anything else we need to add before we jump right in?
I don't think so. I think that summed it up pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So starting with the NBA, last night, I don't know if how much of the game you watched, but I actually watched the fourth quarter. Strictly the fourth quarter. I was up
I
very
didn't watch
late.
any of it.
But yeah, so Kings absolutely stunned the Warriors in a 124-123 thriller. De'Aaron
Yeah.
Fox came up big in the clutch. Steph Curry
And
missed.
Malik Monk,
Yep,
he
Malik
went
Monk.
crazy.
Yeah, he had a great game. Steph Curry could not match that with his game-winning shot. And so the Kings beat the Warriors, also moves them on in the in-season tournament.
Yeah. So we're gonna go right into the in-season tournament then. Kings obviously beat the Warriors, just talked about that. So they're gonna play the Pelicans and host them at home, which honestly I think that's a good matchup. Zion with like the young Kings roster, that's pretty cool. Then we got the Pacers and the Celtics. I'm rooting for my C's. I think the C's are gonna beat the Pacers definitely, even though
It's not going to be as easy
Pacers
as
are
you think.
hosting us.
It's not going to be as easy as you
I don't
think.
know.
Not going to be
I
as
think
easy as you think.
I think we're gonna crush them.
Pacers went undefeated, didn't they? In their in-season
Yeah,
tournament games?
but the Celtics are actually favored to win the whole in-season tournament. Just to let you know.
That's just
I read
based
about
on
it today.
power ranking, so I'm not going to worry
Yeah.
about that. But we'll save that for another time. Then we got Bucks hosting the Knicks. Not sure how I feel about that. Depends on the
Ooh.
defense that the Bucks play. But hey, the Knicks are a good team. Came back, beat a very good Miami team with a fully healthy roster before Butler was hurt. So we'll see what happens
Butler's
there.
hurt.
Butler is
Butler's
out with
hurt.
an ankle injury.
I
Yeah,
did not know that.
yeah.
That
So
damn,
we
actually.
will.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we will see how that works. The Heat are not in the tournament at this point, so it doesn't really matter for them.
No.
But then the Lakers will host the Suns. The Lakers, did they go undefeated or did they lose one?
I do not know, but I if they either lost one or went undefeated. But
Let's
they
see.
played pretty well. In the group stage, they played really well, the Lakers.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hosting, so they at most only had one loss. They have a few injuries too. Speaking of the Lakers, they have Jared Vanderbilt, Anthony Davis, and Cam Reddish are all out.
Oh yeah, Anthony
Um,
Davis is hurt. I heard about that.
LeBron James is day to day. Anthony Davis is day to day. Roy Hachimura and Gabe Vincent are still out for the Los Angeles Lakers. So that is not good for anyone who's a Laker fan. That's for sure.
No.
So yeah, we'll
I
see what
mean,
happens there.
LeBron is LeBron hurt or is he just doing that day-to-day thing since they're resting him
He's
a
I feel
lot?
like he's always day to day, but no,
He's always
they can't
day-to-day.
rest
Okay.
them that much because load management there's like
True.
penalties now. So, we'll see what happens with that. Speaking of basketball, I noticed you had it on our sheet here. I saw it yesterday. I'm very surprised. Mark Cuban selling his majority
Yeah.
stake in the Mavs ownership.
$3.5 billion worth of stake in his Mavs ownership, which will make him lose a lot of control of the company. I don't know exactly who he's selling it
So
to, but he's selling a lot of it.
yeah, so he's selling it to a larger company, but he is still fully in control of basketball operations.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
he's he's still gonna have control of that. But he bought it for like compared to that 3.5 billion number, nothing.
Yeah.
Pocket change. So I mean, I think definitely something to watch. Definitely something to does he sell the rest of the team and move on from them? He's also leaving Shark Tank after this year.
Oh,
Um,
actually?
yeah,
Oh.
so he's definitely making some moves. You know,
Retirement moves, maybe. Maybe he's looking to go buy a house in like the Bahamas, go live there. I don't
I
know.
still think he could do that with the money he's got now. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with that. Just something to keep our eyes on. Move on to football, the NFL. Few key injuries. You have Jonathan Taylor out 2 to 3 weeks to have thumb
Out
surgery.
again.
Yeah,
Out
well,
again. He's been out for a majority of the season. Now he's
but
out again.
the majority of the season was not an injury.
Oh, it wasn't?
No,
Are
that
you
was
sure?
they were trying to get his contract figured out.
I'm pretty sure he was injured for at least a part of that.
Was he? Oh, he might have been
Yeah,
injured
I'm pretty
for the
sure he
end of
was.
it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
But fantasy owners, for those of
yeah.
you who participate in fantasy football, loved him. What was it last week? Had put up a great performance. Um, Monday Night Football was just depressing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely depressing. Josh Dobbs, 4 interceptions. Um, and they lost to the Bears, which should not happen if you're
Yeah.
the Minnesota Vikings.
No, their head coach is considering a QB change after their bye week, which is kind of crazy because who even is the third string on the Viking? Well,
I couldn't,
technically now the second string. I
I
couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
I have no idea. So yeah, that's something to keep our eye on. I don't see a way he can make that change. Move away from Dobbs. I think Dobbs had a rough week, but I think he definitely needs to step it up in terms of that. And then the Panthers, no surprise there, fire their head coach, Frank Reach. Is how you say it, Reach?
Yep.
Um,
I don't know. I don't know if like the CH is like the k sound or something. I don't know.
Frank Reich, Frank Reach, however you have to
Yeah.
say it. But yeah, that's 9 head coaches in what, 4 years?
Something crazy like that. I mean, he had who's their quarterback again? Bryce Young, number one pick in the draft. Like,
Could
I
not
don't think
figure out
they
how to use
should.
them.
Yeah, couldn't figure out how to use him. Couldn't figure out how to win games with
Now,
him, which I
granted,
don't think is acceptable.
granted, their O
Should
line is very injured and very
Yeah.
poor, but that's no reason for there has to be better player development there. In terms of that. So yeah. All right, let's throw it to the NHL.
I can talk about the NHL if you want.
Go for it.
So the Detroit Red Wings signed nine-time All-Star Patrick Kane. So he's finally on a team after a little bit into the season. He had off-season hip surgery, which definitely made teams like hesitant about signing him. I know the Bruins were looking at him. Obviously, the Rangers probably took a look since he was on their team last year. But he found a home in Detroit with his old teammate from the Blackhawks. So I think he'll do good there. He already has some chemistry. I think that was a great ad by the Red Wings. And
I think
then
that's a big piece for them. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was a really good pickup for the Red Wings, I think. And the Red Wings are doing pretty good this year. They've beaten the Bruins twice. I don't know. I don't think that's pretty good. Like being able to say you've beaten the Bruins so far in this season. Um, and then the Blackhawks waived Corey Perry, who is a very, very good player. I don't exactly know what he did, but they said for unacceptable conduct. So he probably did something bad because he's a
In
really
or
good player.
out of the organization, do you know?
No, I don't. I don't think there's that much information about it yet.
That is something we will definitely look into next week on next week's show because that is
Yeah.
and you said who do you play for?
The Blackhawks.
Blackhawks?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So honestly, once they come out, or if they have, and I just haven't read it yet, once they come out with what he did wrong, and if it's not that bad, I definitely see another team picking him up very quickly because he's a really good player.
Yeah.
He
That's
had to do something really bad to get kicked
yeah.
off the Blackhawks.
I was gonna say he was a solid player, so I don't know what they would kick him off for or waive him for, but hey, nothing speaking of the Blackhawks, the rookie, Connor
Oh,
Connor
Connor
Bedard
Bedard.
has 10 goals on the year, 17 points on the year, leads the team in both of those categories. Has one power play goal, 58 shots. He's got 10 goals, like I said, and 7 assists to rack up his 17 points. Having a hell of a year for a rookie.
Yeah,
So,
he's doing really well. Definitely at the beginning of the season, he didn't struggle, but he was being compared to other rookies. Like for example, Bruins upcoming rookie Matthew Poitras. They were definitely getting compared at the beginning of the season because they had very similar stats. But now I see Connor Bedard is definitely ahead of him as Poitras only has 5 goals and five
yeah.
assists, and Connor Bedard is 5 goals ahead of him. So he's definitely growing into this and getting better by the day.
Yeah, and something else to look at is also, Connor Bedard's doing this against pretty solid teams. Opening against the Penguins, like you said, they've lost to the Bruins twice, by 2 goals both times. But they've
Mm-hmm.
beaten the Las Vegas Kings, Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay. They've beaten some of the good teams out there. I mean, they are 7-13, in
Yeah.
last in their Central Division, but for a rookie, you can't complain with those numbers at all.
Yeah, but you can't expect them to be that good because the Blackhawks have gotten a lot of injuries lately. Like Taylor Hall, former Hart winner, is hurt. A lot of other people have been getting injured, and also the chemistry I don't think is there yet because it's not a very young team, but it's a very new team. Like not a lot of people know each other that well. They haven't been on that team for that long. They made a lot of trades in the off season, so I think they just have to figure that out before they can start
No,
getting on hot streaks and
I
winning a lot.
hockey's more of your thing. But how much does chemistry like? I feel like hockey's one of those sports where like does chemistry really impact like a hockey team?
I honestly think so. And I know I'm a Bruins fan. I know I probably shouldn't use that as an example, but last season at the beginning of the year, no one thought the Bruins were going to be the best team ever. Like we didn't have that many good players. We had our solid lineup of like Marchand, Bergie, Krejci, and Pasta, and then everybody else. I bet you if you asked just a regular old NHL fan, they wouldn't know that many people on our team. They're not like we don't have like a stacked team, you know what I mean? But that team was so closely knit in the locker room and out of the locker room that I think that helped us a lot. Because if you have like someone in the locker room, like for example, I can't think of someone in hockey. I'm gonna use basketball, like Kyrie Irving. Like he messes up a lot of things in the locker room. He just gets up and leaves. Like you can't have someone like that in your locker room, or you're not gonna play well on the ice. You need to be able to trust your
Sure.
teammates. You know what I mean?
And adding him to Dallas, like you use Kyrie Irving's example, hasn't helped them much. So
Nope.
I think you're definitely on the right track there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't really sure, but I think definitely evident in basketball because you look at the Kyrie situation, then you look at I know like I'm going to use the Knicks as an example. They have Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo, who all won the national championship at Villanova together, playing on the same team. DiVincenzo and Hart on the second unit, so they have a lot of chemistry there. And so I think, I definitely think chemistry is a big part of at least definitely basketball. Now you're telling me hockey. So,
Yeah.
um, what's with the Wild firing their head coach after
So
very short
I
time this
don't
season?
I don't know much about this guy. I don't even know who he is. The Wild have not been a good team since Marc Andre Fleury left. That's like the last. I'm pretty sure he was in the Wild. That's the last time that they were like kind of considered good. That was like 2 years ago, maybe, because that was a big thing when he moved away from the Penguins. But I don't even know who this guy is, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
So I mean,
I, I'm not surprised. The Wild aren't good. Like they need a better head
well,
coach. They
actually,
need a better team.
yeah. So they're ahead of Chicago in the standings in the Central Division, but the first game without their head coach with a new coach, they won three. They beat the Blues 3-1 to end a 7-game losing streak. They're 6-10 on the year with 16 points. Their goals leader is Joel Eriksson, number 14. He's 6 power play goals on 71 shots, 11 total. Um, assist leader is former Ranger Matt Zuccarello, um, who unfortunately is playing for the Wild now, not the Rangers. But he
Yeah.
has his plus minus is -4 and power play assists is 10. He's got 17 assists. And he also leads the team in points with 5 goals, 17 assists. So definitely they have well, a little bit of talent there, but I think, definitely need to find the right coach to, try to get them. I mean, they've who have they played? I mean, they beat Florida. They've beat Montreal, who I wouldn't consider a great team right now.
No, not really. They have a
Um,
few good players, but
they beat the Oilers, which they're not great.
I mean, they're not great, but you have Drysdale and you have McDavid, so like
Yeah,
that you're playing good defense if you're beating the Oilers. They're just like their
yeah.
goalie kind of
And
stinks.
then you had one win against the Rangers by 1 goal, beat the Islanders by 2 goals, and then lost 7 straight with Buffalo in there, Dallas in there, Colorado,
7 straight.
even Toronto. They lost to Detroit as well. So yeah, I mean
Mm.
they are trying to come back for that. Um, the penalty kill is 68.5%, which I feel like is a little bit low.
No, that's not good. Like I'm pretty sure our penalty kill for the Bruins is like 98%. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
68's not good.
yeah. And their goals scored against is almost 4 per game, and they average
Yeah, that's also not
a
good.
total of 3. So we'll see if they can turn it around here. Went 4-1 in the preseason, and they haven't shown that same flash coming into the regular season here. So yeah, we will definitely see what happens with the Minnesota Wild with the new head coach, who I'm not even sure
Yep,
who it is. But the number one
me
team in the
neither.
league, no longer the Rangers or the Bruins. It is now the Las Vegas Golden
The
Knights,
reigning Stanley Cup champions,
Stanley Cup
the Golden
champs.
Knights.
Yeah, so
Yep.
they're 14-5 and 4. They have 32 points, which is they're playing some just deadly hockey right now.
They didn't really lose anybody from last year. I can't even think of a big name that left. They're basically the same team as last year. So if they can just keep doing what they did last year, honestly, they could definitely two-peat and will win it again with Bruce Cassidy as their coach.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Cassidy is a well-known name in the hockey world, especially after winning the cup last year. So it, like you said, I didn't know of anyone who left from there, and I don't know why anyone would want to leave, Vegas right now. That's the best Vegas team that Vegas has right now. Speaking of Vegas, the Oakland A's in 2 to 3 years, the MLB owners voted on it. We're kind of moving to baseball anyway. They're going to be
Yeah.
moving to Vegas, which I was talking about it with someone the other night. They have to build an indoor stadium, right? There's no way
I
in the middle of
mean,
July in Vegas that they're going to be playing outside.
they might do one of those like half and half where you can like
Open
retract
it.
the roof. Doesn't the Astros have that because they're in
Yeah,
Houston?
yeah, but
Yeah,
I
they're
don't.
probably
But
gonna
still,
do something like
Vegas is a
that.
desert. Like it's you got to be
True.
very careful. Um,
But I also feel like baseball, like being outside, like having like the roof open, like that just feels more like baseball. Like Tropicana Field, I feel like that's not like I don't know. I don't like going to places with the roof closed.
no, I just think for player safety, it's
Yeah,
very
no,
important.
for yeah.
Especially in the summer when the sun stays out longer. Once the sun goes down, the temperatures cool off pretty well. Because it is a desert, and
Yeah.
that's kind of how the weather works. But speaking of baseball, MLB named the American League and National League Comeback Players of the Year. Go for it.
hmm So I don't really know much about Liam Hendricks, but I'll talk about Cody Bellinger. He had an amazing season for he's on the Dodgers, correct? Cody Bellinger,
I believe
pretty
so.
sure.
Yep.
He had an amazing season. Obviously the Dodgers fell short. They didn't produce well in the playoffs, but that doesn't take away the great season that he had. I'm pretty sure he had an injury last year. So coming back from that's pretty good. I didn't read into much about his stats, but that's really good for him. I love Cody Bellinger, even as a Red Sox fan. He's just a nice guy. He's a great player in general. Do you know
Yes.
anything about Liam Hendricks?
So
Because
yeah,
I don't
Liam
really know much
Hendricks.
about
Yeah,
that.
Liam Hendricks played for the A's. He's an Australian baseball player. Played for the A's. Now is playing for, I believe, um, the White Sox. Completed
Okay.
his um complete. He actually was diagnosed. I believe he was diagnosed with cancer. Okay,
Oh,
so he
okay. I think
completed
I
his
know who
cancer
this is now.
treatment.
Yeah.
And I believe he plays. Uh, I believe he was on the A's and now plays for the White Sox, if I'm not mistaken. It could be the other way around. Um, but yeah,
I think he would have to be on the White Sox
I
because
think he
the White
does.
Sox are in the
Yes,
AL.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's actually a free agent this year. Um,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we'll see what happens with him. My guess is the White Sox will sign him back. No reason to lose him. He had a great year this year. Um, so yeah. Do you have down that Yamamoto?
Oh wait. Okay, wait. Back to Cody Bellinger. He was on the Cubs, not the Dodgers. He was on the Dodgers before the Cubs. That's
That's
got it mixed up. Just to correct myself. But I do know who Yamamoto is. So he's a Japanese baseball player, and he's like all the talk right now in the MLB. He just won his third MVP in Japan, and a few days ago, the market opened for MLB teams to sign people from Japan. I'm pretty sure it's open for 91 days. For 91 days. So him winning a third MVP definitely raises the cost of how much a team is going to sign him for.
I,
That definitely raises it a lot.
and I think that also speeds up the process of, when he's going to get that deal. I think by next season he'll be playing in the Major League Baseball, um,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
in the single A, so in the big league. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on because there's a lot of teams with a lot of money to spend. And I know
Yep.
the Yankees are trying to make moves this year. I know the Red Sox are trying to make moves. Red Sox signing him could attract Shohei Ohtani to play for a little bit less money, but
Yeah,
we will
and we already have Yoshida, so
exactly.
that will be like the 1, 2, 3 punch to all the Japanese players. That'd be sick on one team.
Yeah, that'd be something. Speaking of players on the move, I believe Juan Soto is expected to be traded this year.
Yeah.
I know the Blue Jays are looking at him.
Yeah, that
Um,
just came out today, actually. The Blue Jays are heavily pursuing him.
oh,
That's like
heavily pursuing
great.
him.
That's like breaking news. Yeah, they're like I think pretty sure they really want him.
That's something that the Padres, correct? I'm not losing my mind here.
Yeah, he's on the
Yeah,
Padres.
so that's something the Padres couldn't figure out is how to get him,
No,
Machado
Tatis
and
and
Tatis
Bogarts.
and
I
Bogarts
would
to play
consider
together.
Bogarts.
They had four of the best players in baseball on in their own regard, but they could not get, the four of them to play as a team and win
Yeah, but
baseball games.
they like even like though Bogarts is so good, they screwed themselves with the deal they gave him. They gave him
Absolutely.
so the Red Sox offered him more money per year, but they offered him a longer contract. But that was such a big mistake by the Padres, like giving him that much money. And I'm pretty sure was it an 8 year deal, a 10 year? It was like something crazy long, like until he's gonna be like 40 or something. That was a really big mistake on the Padres'
And I
part.
think
Now
the
they're
Padres
stuck with
are
Bogarts.
is going to say no one's going to want to pick up that contract, and so he's pretty much not tradable. He's playing with them for a long time.
Yep.
And then Cardinals signing Sonny Gray to a 3-year, $75 million deal. Not much to really say there.
No, that's a great signing for the
It's a
Cardinals.
great
They have
signing
a
for the
really,
Cardinals.
really good pitching rotation. They added him to it,
Absolutely.
made it even better.
Yeah. I wish the Yankees went after him more than they did, but I think the Yankees need to add some more depth to their pitching rotation. But baseball season is a long ways away. Um,
Yeah.
so we will definitely keep our eyes on everything baseball as we move forward. But now we get to the fun part of the show,
Oh
where
yeah.
we get to argue with each other about Boston and New York sports. So go ahead, give us the recap, Boston teams, what they're doing,
Okay.
who they're beating, who they're losing to. Go for it.
So last night the Celtics beat the Bulls, and when I tell you I was freaking out over this game, I was on the edge of my seat because we had to win by 23 points, which we did. We won by more than I think it was 28 points or something like that. And we needed the Nets to beat the Raptors to be able to make it into the next round of the in-season tournament. So we ended up doing that. So I'm very happy about that. Last night played a great game. Jaylen Brown 30 points. I think our team played great together. We had a lot of our bench players playing. Like we had Pritchard out there a lot. We had a bunch of other people. We had like Hauser, Cornette. Cornette played really well.
Watching
So
that game,
Celtics. Oh,
watching
you
that
watched
game,
it?
I watched part of it. It was like Haka Drummond. They kept fouling Andre Drummond to
Oh
get the ball back
yes,
towards the end of
Joe
the game.
Mazzulla. Yeah,
And
Joe
yeah, so
Mazzulla
Billy
talked to their head
Donovan,
coach
yeah, Billy
after.
Donovan and Joe Mazzulla were not happy with each other. But look, with the in-season tournament, I think Joe Mazzulla has every right to do that, and I don't like I. That's exactly like point differential is everything. When head to head is the same, you have to do what have to do, and that's smart basketball IQ from Joe Mazzulla to pick up on that.
Yeah, so the Celtics moved to a 14-4 record, which is still the best in the NBA, which is cool. So then next I'm gonna move the Patriots. So we fell to a 2-9 record on the season, which is the worst record we've had since like 2000, I think, or since we hired Bill Belichick. It was one of those two. So we actually lost to your team, the Giants, which honestly is bad and good because now we have the second pick in the
Awful,
NFL draft
awful for us.
instead of you guys,
Awful.
so we have it now, but we also lost, so that kind of stinks.
Yeah. So
But that
here's my whole thing. Bill Belichick is your GM, right? He told the
shouldn't
kicker to
be our
miss the field
GM.
goal.
Oh, he definitely did. Right after that happened, I started laughing, and I
So
was like,
here's the thing:
I was like, he's
if
following the
you watch,
script.
and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to find a clip and I'll play it. Watch Bill Belichick's
Panthers, here's your
reaction
kick to send us
to
into
the missed field
overtime.
goal. Just watch it
Okay. What? Did he like
because
smile?
he does not look like he gives a crap about that kick not going in. And by
He
the
doesn't
way,
give a crap about
it's not like it
anything
was a
though.
50-yard field goal. Understandable. It wasn't a 50-yard field goal. This was a 35-yard field goal, the exact distance of an
Yeah.
extra point. And you mean to
And there
tell
was like
me
no wind.
there
Was
was
there
no
wind? It was
wind? I know it
raining.
was
It was
raining, but
raining.
the spot was good. The laces were out, and he duck hooked it 40 yards to the left. So I don't want to get into all of that right now, but I think the Giants stink at doing anything right. They can't win games and they can't tank correctly. So congratulations, you got Caleb Williams. Um,
Let's go.
so
So
you can
excited.
burn that Mac Jones jersey you have behind you.
Or we can draft what is it, Marvin Harrison Jr. Get
Yeah,
Mac a wide receiver so Mac can prove himself.
Mac can't prove himself, but that's okay.
Okay.
Um, I
Okay.
think the Giants all came out with a statement. The GM says that Jones will be the starter next year for the Giants. Daniel Jones will start football
Oh,
games for the
I was like,
Giants next
what?
year. Now, I
Yeah.
don't know if that means that they don't go after a quarterback this year in the draft. I still think they
I don't know.
do. And I think you could see like an Eli or Zach Wilson situation where Daniel Jones starts the season and then the rookie that they drafted comes in and takes over. But I think that we kind of screwed ourselves by giving him that much money, and for
Yeah.
that long. But we do have an out. After that, next year we can get out of his contract. So that's definitely helpful. But I cannot stand the New York Giants and Tommy DeVito for winning a football game when it matters more. I was rooting for the Patriots. I was
Oh, I
rooting
know. You
for
texted me. You were
yeah,
like, "Go Patriots." You put
I
on your
was
story even.
yeah, I was rooting for the Patriots. Those of you who followed my Instagram would have known I rooted for the Patriots. It felt really weird, but I
Mm.
was not happy, and I definitely think Bill Belichick told whoever their kicker is, I couldn't even tell you, to miss that kick on purpose.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, staying on the Patriots really quickly, Bill Belichick still hasn't named a starter for next week again at quarterback. And
that could be a
I
game time
was
decision.
I was reading through Twitter today, right? And so Mac Jones, so you know how in practice they have media sessions and then they have practice with no media. So during the media session where the media is allowed to be there, Mac Jones took no reps. Bailey Zappi took all the reps except one, and Malik Cunningham took one rep. That's crazy to
Yeah,
me.
and
There's
so
like that's
did you see the
insane.
clip? Did you see the clip? And I'm gonna try to find it here, and I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it right on here. Watch this clip, and it's the clip of the before the Giants game. The media was at the practice. Mac Jones hit one of his receivers square in the hands, and he
Oh, and
dropped
he
the ball
drops it.
in
And he
practice.
drops
No
it.
defense, no anything, no pressure whatsoever, and he drops the ball. That is why the Patriots are 2-9. Not that the Giants are any
You
better,
stink.
but yeah, it's just pathetic. What both of these
It's
football teams are doing.
horrible.
Go on to the
It's
Bruins.
horrible.
Let's talk
Oh
about teams that are
God.
actually know what they're
Don't even
doing
get me started. No, we don't even know what we're doing. We've lost three in a row. Like
by
we
three
were like
goals.
14. Yeah. And it's like one of them was to the Rangers. Like whatever. Like let us lose that game. But the other two games, like we should have won. Like the Detroit Red Wings, I get they already beat us once, but like it's the Detroit Red Wings. Like, they're not good at hockey. Like we shouldn't have lost
Well,
those
they're clearly
games.
better than you.
This is not okay.
They're definitely
They're
better than
not
you
better
guys,
than
but
us.
that's
They're just
okay.
not.
We're gonna move
Okay,
into
good.
the New York teams here. So the Knicks beat the Hornets 115 to 91 Tuesday night to move to a 10-7 record. Also clinch the wild card spot for Group B, I believe they're in for the in-season tournament. So they are going to face the Bucks, like we mentioned, at the Bucks. So we will definitely see how that goes. They have a good chance against that team. It's just going to be a lot of help defense on Giannis. And I think, RJ Barrett's going to have his hands full with Chris Middleton. But by the way, RJ Barrett has been playing some of the best defense of his career. He has, when they played the Heat on Friday night, I was actually at that game. A stat that was released after the game, RJ Barrett, when RJ Barrett was the primary defender, the Heat were 2 for 11. Jimmy Butler was 0 for 6 when RJ Barrett was the primary defender. RJ Barrett is locking guys down like never before. And I think that you could definitely see that happen a lot more. Um, you could definitely see that happen a lot more in that game. It's a playoff matchup. From when was it? Did we no, we
The
never played
Heat
them in
and
the
the
playoffs.
Knicks?
No.
No.
The Bucks and the Knicks. Not a
Oh,
playoff,
Bucks next.
not a playoff matchup.
No, because the
Um,
Bucks got knocked out first round, right?
exactly, yeah.
By the
So
Heat. Yeah.
but here's the thing: if you look at that's what I'm trying to reference by the playoffs. If you look at Miami's team, who definitely is capable of beating the Bucks, we just proved that we can hang with the best of the best, and Jimmy Butler and the best coach in basketball, Eric Spoelstra. So
I don't know if he's the best coach in basketball though.
not better. He's better than Joe Mazzulla.
I don't know. Joe Mazzulla is a pretty good coach.
Eric Spoelstra. How many titles does Joe Mazzulla have? Conversation's
None, but he's
over.
also a second. Okay.
Conversation is 100%. Eric Spoelstra has coached some of the best players to ever play, and also shown that he doesn't need three of the best players in the league to win basketball games and make it to the finals. So yeah, the Knicks are in a good spot with that. Speaking of like we touched on the Giants, horrible win if you're a real Giants fan to the New England Patriots. And the Rangers, who now have a better record than the Boston Bruins, and as they
Okay, we
stand,
don't need to talk about that.
when this was
You guys are like,
recorded, when this
we
was
have the same
recorded,
points.
oh, but we are 15-4-1, and you are
Okay,
14-4-3.
one
But
more win.
and two less ties, so that's okay.
Well, we played like two more games than you though, so that
That's
really
how
doesn't
math works.
mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So no, the Rangers 14-4-1, playing great hockey. My dad was at the game, was at one of the games recently, and he was very impressed. They're definitely playing some really good hockey. So
Mhm. How's
yeah,
the shaved head?
the what?
How's the shaved head?
Who shaved head?
Oh my God. How do I know this and you don't? Artemi Panarin, the flow, he cut it all off.
Oh, I don't pay attention to their hair, to be honest with you. I watch the
Oh,
games and
I do.
okay, well
I
that's
pay attention to the hair.
there's reasons for that. All right.
Oh, there is reasons. Yep.
Yep. So we're gonna rapid fire. We are running out of time, unfortunately, today. It's not gonna be a long episode, but it is gonna be a good one because we have NFL picks this week. Week 12, is that where
Okay.
we're at?
I think so.
I think we have
Week
week
12. That
12.
sounds about right. That sounds
Week
about right.
12 is what I'm gonna guess. Let's see. Uh,
Week 12 or week 13.
week 12 or week
It's
13?
it's week 13.
Week
You're
13.
one off.
Week 13. All right. So, um, we're gonna run through these real quick. We'll splurge a little on the big games, the ones that are gonna be close. Seahawks at Cowboys. Cowboys at home. Don't bet against them.
Cowboys are
They're
gonna
gonna
kill them.
smother them.
Yep.
Um,
Geno Smith got nothing on Dak Prescott.
yeah. As much as we hate to say it, Colts at Titans. Colts are
Yeah.
favored by 2. Uh, I'm gonna take the Titans here. I
Oh,
think.
I'm also gonna take the Titans. That's crazy. Taking the upset.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the upset only because I think Will Levis is gonna have a great game against this Colts team that doesn't have Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, that doesn't have
And I
Jonathan
think
Taylor.
that's a big thing. I think Derrick Henry could have a big game against their defense, so we'll see about that. Chargers at Patriots. Chargers are favored by -6. This is another crappy game. I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game, only because I believe that Bill Belichick will successfully tank again. And
Yeah, I'm also taking the Chargers as sadly as it is.
well, as a Patriots fan, you should want them to lose at this point.
Yeah, but at
Um,
the same time, it's like ugh, watching our team lose every week.
well, it's
Except
okay.
the Bills. That game
Uh,
was good, beating the
yeah,
Bills.
I was going to say you did beat the Bills, but what's his name? Josh Allen played down to Mac Jones level, so that's okay.
Well, he does that to
I
every
know,
quarterback.
except
So
and he played up to Jalen Hurts level last week against the Eagles, which was a great game. Buffalo's
Mhm.
heading into their bye only to come out and play the Chiefs, so that was
Oh,
another matchup to watch. That is week
that's tough.
14. Lions Saints. Lions are favored by 4. I think they're going to win by more than that. I think Derek
Oh
Carr
yeah.
is completely lost in New Orleans. I don't think we're going to have any problems there. So you're
And all their wide receivers are hurt. Like
so you,
every single Saints wide receiver is like actually hurt. Like Michael Thomas hospital case, he's hurt again.
yeah. Falcons at Jets. The Falcons are only favored by 3 somehow. I don't think that's. I'm gonna take the Falcons. I know
Oh,
you're
I'm
gonna.
taking the Jets.
Why?
I'm taking the Jets. I just have a feeling the Jets are gonna win. I don't have faith in the Falcons at
I think
all.
Bijan Robinson is gonna have a field day. Um, and I think they're gonna throw it. They're gonna throw him the ball a lot with Sauce Gardner worrying about a receiver. I think they're gonna throw Bijan the ball a lot.
But what receiver do they have to worry about? Are you sure they're not going to put Sauce Gardner? Is Bijan Robinson a running back? My bad.
Yes.
But like, I
Well,
don't know.
Sauce
I just
Gardner will
don't.
typically guard a receiver, is what I'm saying, trying to
Yeah.
get at. And I
No.
think
Yeah.
that he's not his. Their main focus is not going to be Bijan Robinson. We'll see. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a crappy game, and you might be 3-0 at the end. Who knows? Um, Cardinals Steelers. I'm also going to take the Steelers. I
Steelers.
know
Yeah.
you're
Kenny Pickett. I hope he plays better. He's not that good, but
well
he's
since
enough.
firing Matt Canada. They put up 400 yards of offense last week, so
Yeah.
that's
That was better. That was definitely better.
I think not having him at the helm is something that they definitely should be appreciative of. Okay, now we have Panthers Bucks. Who are you going with?
I'm taking the Bucks on this one. Baker Mayfield. I don't know. I've heard some rumors about him posted on social media. Something's changing. Something's happening. I don't know. I think
Okay,
they're gonna
so
win.
I'm
They're
yeah,
also favored, so
they're favored by 5.5. So I'm going to take the Bucks as well. I don't think the Panthers will have enough time with a brand new head coach to or an interim coach at this point to lead that team to a win. I think Mike Evans needs to have a big day, especially for my fantasy team. For those of you who have him, that's a big game. That's a day. That's just big points for Mike Evans this week. Definitely, I recommend starting him.
we
Dolphins,
have. I have.
Commanders,
Wait. I have breaking news.
go for it.
We have. We have. Do you know who John Heyman is or Hyman? I forget how to pronounce his name. He's a baseball reporter. No. Well, he has inside. I forget the word. He has like inside stuff saying that he might sign. Shohei Ohtani might sign next week at the winter meetings in Nashville.
That is big.
He's a trustworthy reporter, John Heyman. He's good.
Yeah, so I think that's something we're definitely going to talk about next week on our show because I think Shohei Ohtani is right now the biggest name in baseball. So
Oh
I
yeah.
think everyone's got their eyes on where he's going to go, and that's going to affect how aggressive certain teams are in free agency, whether they get him or not. Let's jump back into the picks. Dolphins, Commanders. Dolphins are on the road, still favored by 9.5. I can't imagine what it would be if they were at home. They're going to be in the cold, but I think that's not going to stop Tua, Tyreek.
No.
Still take the Dolphins there.
Yeah, Dolphins are gonna whoop the Commanders definitely.
Broncos, Texans. Texans are favored by 3.5. CJ Stroud has been playing some amazing football. So have the Broncos. They started out
Yeah.
1-5, and I think they're now 6-5. They won 5 straight. So, they did have a bye week in there, obviously. You have the Broncos, don't you?
I do. I have the Broncos coming out. Russell Wilson, let him cook.
I
Let
think
him
I
cook.
think CJ Stroud and and Tank are going to go off against the Broncos, against that defense, and I think I'm going to take the Texans here. Um, oh my gosh, these games are just worse and worse and worse. So we've
Not
got
really. I mean,
well,
there's
this next
49ers,
one.
Eagles.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
the
this
next
next
one's
one. The
bad.
Browns and Rams. I couldn't even
Yep.
tell you who to pick here. The Rams are favored by 3.5.
I don't know why the Rams are favored by 3.5. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I know they have Puka Nacua, but like, I just think the Browns are a better team than the
I
Rams.
have not seen the arm strength out of Matthew Stafford that I should be. Um, so yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna take the Browns here also. I don't think the Rams should be favored by that much at all.
No.
Okay, Chiefs Packers. Chiefs are favored by 6.5. I think they're gonna walk all over the Packers.
Yep.
Uh,
Jordan Love he's just not good
and
enough yet.
and
Nope.
I don't think their offensive line is gonna hold up. I think he's gonna have a lot of pressures. He's gonna get sacked a few times. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, and then 49ers Eagles. We gotta rapid fire these off. 49ers favored by 3. I'm gonna take the Niners to win this game. Brock Purdy. Um,
Same.
he's got all his weapons. I think the Eagles are gonna get their second loss of the year. And then Bengals Jags. Take I'm gonna take the Jags here. They're favored by
Yeah.
8. The Bengals don't have a quarterback. No
Nope.
Joe Burrow. They're not gonna be a playoff team. So
Uh,
thank you for watching the tailgate talk. We have to cut this short, unfortunately, today, um, due to other stuff that we've got going on. Shout out to Joey Kenny who could not make it on with us today as a guest. But I'm Aaron. That's Rylee on my left, and we will see you next week. Anything else?
Don't forget to follow the links in the description.
Yeah, follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff.